Hello my beautiful beardy friends. So today we're going to talk about how often you should trim your beard if you're growing it out. Let's look at that. Hello, if you're new to this channel, please remember to subscribe and hit that bell notification if that's still a thing when you're watching this video, because that helps me a lot. But also I'm going to be talking about beard growing, maintenance and products, and I want you to consume all of that delicious content. All right, let's go talk about trimming that beard. So growing a beard is a very, very simple equation. Essentially, you only have to cut off less than you grow. Boom. Easy, right? That's super easy. But I can see why, having been through this beard growing process a couple of times, why people get so consumed with wanting to trim it. And that's because it looks gross. In the early stages of beard growing, it's awkward. You can go check out my other video about it being awkward. It is untidy. You want to trim it, but you just have to push through. And so there are stages at which I think you can trim a beard, but it's certainly not early on. So yeah, it's a very simple equation. Cut off less than you grow. And if you're in the early stages, just leave it alone. Okay, I recommend that you do not touch your beard if you're new to growing for the first 3 months. Just let the beard be. If you have to, you can tidy up some things that I'll tell you in a moment, but really you need to just be thinking about your ideal beard and really just go past that length. Going past that length means that when you trim it back, your beard's going to have nice defined lines. It's going to have sort of enough bushiness to fill up the back and support the growth. If you start trimming too early, that's when your beard can start looking not as substantial, because you're always trimming away at the edges and there's nothing at the back to support up the growth at the front. Yeah, so look, you just have to leave it alone. During those 3 months, what I recommend you do is you moisturize and you condition your face, use a scrub, and you essentially try your best to look after the skin on which the beard is growing. Now, do that with good shampoo, good face cleanser, and you really do have to look past the fact you're going to end up with wispy stuff on your cheeks and it's going to be growing unevenly. But yeah, you have to leave it that long, unfortunately, before you can do any sort of fancy trimming. So 3 months, some people say 6 months, 8 weeks minimum. Like, do not even think about getting anything to your beard to trim it, cut it, or shape it in 8 weeks. Please just leave it alone. You get that. I think I've made it clear. So that does not mean that there's nothing you can't learn about your beard during that time. And there are a few questions that I think you need to ask yourself during the early stages. And what it does is it gives you an ability to get to know your beard better. It gives you the ability to have a meaningful conversation with a barber when you come to get it shaped up, because you can tell them what you know about your beard. And those questions are, where is it growing strongest? Okay, so typically that's on the chin, mustache area and on the sides. Cheeks, for a lot of people, are really not very strong growth in that area. But have a look at your beard. Where is it growing the most? And that way, when you talk to your barber, you can tell them, well, it grows quite strong on the chin, so they may want to leave the cheeks and other places a little bit sort of longer as it grows in. Now, by speaking to the barber, I mean way later. But getting to know your beard now is what you can do. So the second question is, like, where are there patches or weak points or things that you're not completely happy with right now? Now, don't worry too much about the cheeks. Like I said, those take a while to come in anyway or look substantial. But where are there holes? Where are there little kind of gaps in your beard that you think, if I could change this, this is where I would want a bit more hair? We're not doing anything about it at this stage, but what you can do then is use that later on when you're speaking to a barber about your beard. You can let them know everything you know about it, and they'll enjoy having the conversation so that they can trim your beard to make sure it matches your beard and not what it looks like at the time. So yeah, look at all of the aspects of your beard. The third question is it symmetrical? So in the early stages, the first kind of 8 weeks to 6 months even, is it symmetrical? Does it grow faster on one side than the other? And then when you come to trim up your beard much later, you'll have much more of an appreciation of what your beard does, especially over the growth time. And then you can, keep an eye out for the bits that grow longer. Keep an eye out for the bits that aren't very good in terms of thickness or hair density. And so yeah, this is the stage, the early stages when you leave your hair alone is where you get a chance to find out more about your beard. Observe it. Think about mindfulness meditation. Observe the beard and let it go. Okay, so there are things you can do along the journey, things that you can do first before anything else that will make your beard look a little bit better while you're growing it. Now the thing about beards is that they can look messy really quickly, and in the early stage they are gross and awkward and weird. Go check out my other videos about that. But the main sort of length of a beard comes from, like here, the chin, right? These hairs right on top are the longest hairs on my face because they go from just under my lip to the bottom here. So I do not want to cut those if I'm growing out length. But there are a few places on your face that will probably end up short. So the first place I would trim is your neckline. Now the neckline is a place that can get really itchy really quickly, and so trimming up your neckline and keeping that short will hopefully help you sort of like get more comfortable with the feeling of the beard on your face, but also yeah, give you the opportunity to start to define underneath where the neck begins and where the beard begins and the neck ends. So there are a few ways you can do it. I've got a blog post on beardgrowingpro.com about how you find your neckline, but there's two approaches. The first one, 2 fingers, stretch up on your Adam's apple, and then you can see that the beard line is just above there, if you can even see that. Oof. So that's one way, and then the second way is to push your head down and push your finger up into the crease of your neck until it completely sort of like hits the apex, and that is where your head joins your neck, and it's a great sort of guide for where your beard line should be. So do that, cut that in. That is one place where you can trim earlier than the rest of your beard. Okay, then the second place is the cheek line. Cheek lines are pretty hard to get in the early stages. If you're in doubt with any of this, by the way, go see a professional barber. I know they will love to help you. And build up a relationship with a barber as well. This early stage is a great time to build up a relationship, find someone that you trust to cut your beard later on. But cheek lines are another place where it can sort of work wonders once they are edged up nicely. So getting a nice defined cheek line is really simple and something you can do probably after about 8 weeks, and it helps you look like you're growing an intentional beard instead of a scruffy homeless man beard, as people call it. I'm not sure if that's politically correct or not. But yeah, so here we are, trim up here. And the third place is the mustache. One of the most annoying things for me personally about growing a beard is the fact that hair gets in your mouth. And so the mustache was one of the first things that I cut. I really wanted a massive mustache. When I was looking at early on about these beards that I wanted, I was like, okay, I want a massive mustache, a beard stash, I believe some people call them, but I didn't understand how much it gets in my mouth. So trimming up the mustache may be a good way in the early stages, especially in the corners here. It may be a really nice way for you to enjoy the beard growing process, start to sort of like see some final shape. And unless you're growing out a massive mustache, you probably can trim it earlier than the rest of your beard, but really leave everything else to grow. There's going to be weird bumps under here, under your chin where it grows, but really you have to get the length of the chin, back it up with the hair behind it, and the only thing that's going to give you that is time and leaving your beard alone. Cut less than it grows. Simple, right? Okay, so once you get to a kind of length that you're happy with, then you can kind of trim up. I kind of do it fortnightly or weekly, and go check out my trimming video, and I do that. I kind of get the lines, the edges, make sure it's all nice and flat, trim up the mustache. I'm still trying to grow out my beard a little bit. Like I'm trying to get a little bit more length here, but I'm really quite happy with the length overall. I don't want a massive wizard beard, so a little bit more length. So I'm sort of like trimming regularly, but not heaps. Now, the thing is, the more you trim, even though you think you're just taking off little bits, if you take off little bits every day or week, it really can add up. So if I was doing this properly and I really wanted to accelerate the growth to, or the length to where I think I want it, which is a little bit longer, I should just leave it alone. I shouldn't cut it at all. So by minimizing the amount I trim, obviously I give my beard more opportunity to grow longer. And so that's where I am at the moment. And so yeah, about once every fortnight I just trim up, but I'm very conscious to take very little off my beard here. Really, I'm just looking for lines and I'm just making sure there's no buzziness. But that's about it. So yeah, if you're growing your beard and it's at this length, you can kind of creep up on that ideal length. And I do like keeping a beard nice and sort of tight and tidy, especially after now having this beard for like a year and a half. I really want to keep it looking schmick. And the way I do that is just little bits every fortnight, but expecting it to grow over the course of a year. Does that make sense? I'm sure it does. All right then, so let me know in the comments, what would you do if you're growing a beard? Obviously it's better just to leave it, but everyone that's grown a beard knows that that can be really challenging just because it looks a little bit gross and you're like, please, I must grow a beard that looks good. It's just a little trim. Oh, so tempting, just get the scissors, trim up. So we know what the internal conflict is around growing a beard, but let me know in the comments what you think about that. And please remember to subscribe if you're not already a subscriber. And yeah, I shall see you in the next video. Have a lovely day, night, weekend, whatever it is when you're watching this video.